Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Star Wars Black Series 2-pack Forloom and Zuckuss. Now, I always thought these guys were kind of unique. I kind of liked both of them. The one that I really liked was Forloom, but on this packaging it is calling them Zuckuss because it's going back to the original names on the original Kenner boxes, because when these two figures came out they had the names switched. So Zuckuss, which is actually this guy here, was called Forloom, as you see here, and then Forloom was called Zuckuss. Now, Forloom was kind of the one that I always kind of thought was kind of cool because he kind of looked like a more battle version of like C-3PO. He had a bug head, but he had your basic C-3PO body. So I thought he looked kind of cool. And then this bug guy almost reminded me of like the bug guys from Battlestar Galactica, when they went to that one planet and the bug people tried to eat him. So he reminds me a little bit of him. So that's why I kind of like these two characters. They have their own uniqueness to them that makes them pretty cool. So with that being said, first off, I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for anybody who watches this review and likes it and hasn't subscribed, then I please ask that you subscribe and check out my Star Wars playlist. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here they are in packaging. I like this packaging here. So first off, you have 40 years of Empire Strikes Back. You have your age restriction, your choking hazard, Bounty Hunters, 40th edition. I like that. And then it shows the card back of both figures, the original card backs for both figures. So, like I said earlier, as you saw, you got Forloom here, and you also have Zuckuss there, and Hasbro. Spinning around this way, you got a nice picture of Zuckuss. I like that. Bounty Hunters. Spinning around to the back, you get a quick story about the figures in several different languages. You got your legal underneath. On this side here, you got Forloom. And then on top, you got Star Wars. And then underneath, you have a little bit of legal. So, with all that being said, let's open them up and see what they're about. All right, so here they are out of the box and just in their card back. So as you can see, it's pretty much similar to the box. So you have, the 40 years of Empire, Empire Strikes Back, Zuckuss, Forloom. You got the Kenner logo and choking hazards on this one. This one only says Kenner. All right, switch them around to the back here. You get all the other figures that are part of this. Flip him around too. All right, you get everybody that is part of this wave, and you get some legal underneath. So this is some pretty cool packaging. I like that they did that. They did the swap around and what have you. So now, with that being said, we're actually going to open up the packaging and see what these figures are about. All right, so here he is out of packaging. We're starting off with Forloom. So he's an okay looking figure. I'll get into the reasons why I feel like he's just okay instead of great. So first, let's start off with a rotation. We got this side here. Pretty basic, as I said before. He's pretty much a modified protocol droid. So if you look how his arms are designed, that's definitely a protocol droid design. Same with his legs. I forget his complete backstory. I used to know it a long time ago, but I believe that's what exactly he is a modified probe droid. So you come to the back, once again you have that whole setup. I would have liked to have seen more detailing here in this brake piece, like have all these wires and stuff of silver. I think that would have looked a lot better on him, would have made it pop and make it look a little bit more like the original character. This side is the same. All right. Come back to the front. I do like his head design. I think the head design looks pretty good. Let's give it a spin. So you get this side of the head. And then you get that side as well. And he also has this red mark here, similar to the movie character. But now here's where I got a slight issue with this. So you look at the card back. Now the card back is what the actual character looked like in the movie. And you see this rust wash on him. I think that's something they could have easily have done with this figure, is put this rust wash on him to make him look a little bit more like the original character. I think that would have really made him pop. And see the silver in here as well, with like the wires and stuff in there. They didn't do any of that. So I feel like he's pretty good looking for what he is, but they could have did a better job on him. They could have added that little bit of a wash on him, give a little bit more detail to those wires and gears and stuff, and that would have just made him a whole lot better looking figure in my personal opinion. So now he doesn't come with too many accessories. All he does come with is this rifle here. All right, so you could do two things with it. You could set him up how he was in the movie, so have him hold the barrel like that. So if you want him like that, very much similar to how it looked in the movie, you could do that. He does have a trigger finger for it. So if you want to have him holding it as a rifle, and then bring it around to this hand. Let's see if we could get a two-handed hold on this, which due to the design of his arms, and once again, they're protocol droid arms, so they may not move. Actually, I am wrong in that. So you can have him do that two-handed hold pretty easily. So that works very well with him. All right. And now let's start going through his points of articulation. So like you saw earlier, the head does move. So you get some good head movement in there. He does have a shoulder joint with a swivel. Now his arms don't go up too high. Once again, that's the design of the robot. That's not a mark against Hasbro. That's just how this particular body style works. His elbow does move. All right. And this piston goes back and forth. So there's a slot here. So when you move the elbow, it kind of moves with it. Got a wrist joint. All right. Put this other arm up. Now you got a joint right here above the wires. And you have one below it. Not a whole lot of movement in there, but it is there. You can get that movement, but not a lot. Spin them around this way. Get this arm up. There it goes. All right, so now you got your leg. So you got your thigh joint. It does have a swivel. All right. And you do have a knee joint, as well as an ankle joint. All right. So all his joints move pretty well. I don't have any real issues with anything with this figure at this point in time, except for apparently he doesn't want to stay on the stand. There we go. All right, so here he is out of packaging. He isn't bad looking. I feel like he represents the look from the movie pretty well. So we're going to start off with the rotation. So you have this side here. Not a lot going on there. Just your standard, jacket, arm, and what have you. Let's lift the arm piece up so you can kind of see a little bit of the wrap underneath. All right, the same with the leg. Let's get this arm out of the way. You can actually see what the legs and stuff look like on him, what have you. All right. Just so you get an idea that they actually did do some detailing underneath the cloak. Not a lot because you don't really need it. All right, so you come to the back here. So you have like his little life support system here, I believe is what this is. You got a couple of pouches and stuff. So that looks pretty neat. This side is basically the same as the other. And then you come back around to the front. Now the head sculpt looks pretty cool. I like the overall head sculpt. Now, unlike his counterpart, as you can tell, if I tilt him this way, you can see that they put some sort of wash on him. They kind of make his details stick out. I wish they would have did that with Loom as well, like I said earlier, because they could have gave him that rust wash that would make him look a lot more like the original character. But this guy looks pretty decent, so his head does move. All right. That also allows you to see the detailing on either side. All right. So you do got a shoulder joint. There's a swivel in there. Let's move this back so you can get the joints moving right. You got an elbow joint, and you do have a wrist joint. You can get this other arm up. You should have some of the standard points of articulation. So there is probably two joints in here. It's a little bit tight because of his robes, but they are there. You can see the movement. All right. Bring them around this way. All right. Lift up this robe piece here so we could really get to moving this leg. So you have a thigh joint with a swivel. All right. You got a knee joint, a little bit tight, but it does move. And you do have an ankle joint. So all his joints move pretty well. Matter of fact, this is probably the most movement I'll be giving this guy because he doesn't really do a whole lot of movement, even in the movie. All right. So he only comes with one accessory, and that's his gun here. Now you could put it in either hand. It don't matter, you know. So this hand here kind of has like a trigger finger. So I guess he was meant to be a lefty, which I'm okay with that. So that fits pretty well in his hand. The finger don't quite make the trigger, but it is what it is. And you could probably get this arm over here. So you can also get the two-handed hold as well. So everything seems to work pretty well with this figure. All right, so my final thoughts on these two is I like this set. I think it's a really nice set. I do like the throwback where they had the names swapped like they originally were on the original 80s card back. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially for any of you collectors who are going to keep them in box. You know, that'd be a nice display piece for you. But as far as the figures go, the weapons fit very well in their hands, no issues. All their joints work very well. I don't have any issues with any of their joints. They both look pretty cool. Probably any issues I have with this set would be for Loom, just because I think they could have did a little bit more detail on him, like I explained earlier with the rust wash, or painting in his wires and stuff to look silver like the original character. So that's my only issue with him. Other than that, everything else is pretty good. So would I recommend this set? Yes, I would, for both inbox collectors and people who want to display them. Just because of the fact that for folks that like to keep them in box, they do have the mixed up names on it, so that would make a great display piece for you. And for folks who want them out of box, they just are good looking figures and will go great with the rest of your Black Series. So with that being said, I hope you all did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Star Wars playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.